Eleanor Kim had always been the family's invisible engine. She was the one who remembered everyone's birthdays, who sent out the group texts, who booked the flights, and double-checked the hotel confirmations. She was the reason the Kim family's annual vacation happened at all, though you'd never know it from the photos. This year, the destination was Maui. Eleanor had spent weeks comparing prices, wrangling schedules, and even negotiating a group discount. She'd sent out the itinerary, printed the boarding passes, and packed her own suitcase last, as always. But when she scrolled through her sister-in-law's Instagram the night before departure, her heart dropped. There they were, her mother, her brother David, his wife, the kids, even Uncle Paul, smiling in a carousel of sunlit group shots from last year's trip. Eleanor's face was missing from every single one. In some, she'd been cropped out. In others, she simply wasn't there, though she remembered taking the photos herself. The captions stung. Family is everything. Couldn't do it without this crew. Not a single mention of the person who'd made it all possible. She scrolled further, hoping for a mistake. But the pattern was clear. Even in the group chat, her suggestions were met with thumbs-up emojis, but her name was never tagged in the thank you posts. She was the planner, the fixer, the background. Eleanor closed her laptop, the blue light flickering across her face. She felt a strange hollowness, as if she'd been erased from her own life. Was she only valued for what she did, not who she was? Was her presence so forgettable that even the family album could do without her? She sat in the quiet, the hum of her phone the only sound. A new message popped up. "Eleanor, can you confirm the airport shuttle time?" She stared at it, a bitter laugh escaping her lips. Of course they needed her, just not enough to remember her. That night, Eleanor lay awake, replaying every moment she'd been overlooked. The inside jokes she wasn't part of, the dinners where she took the group photo but never appeared in it, the way her mother always said, "We're so lucky to have you," but never, "We're so happy you're here." She realized with a slow ache that she'd become a ghost in her own family's story. And for the first time, she wondered what would happen if the ghost simply stopped haunting the background. The morning of the trip, Eleanor moved through her apartment in a hush that felt both heavy and strangely liberating. She made coffee, watered her plants, and watched the sunrise over the city. No frantic packing, no last-minute calls to the airline, no reminders sent to the family group chat. For the first time in years, she let the world spin without her pushing it forward. Her phone buzzed with a steady stream of messages. "Eleanor, what time do we need to leave for the airport? Did you get the confirmation for the hotel shuttle? Can you send the itinerary again?" She read each one, her thumb hovering over the reply button, but she didn't answer. Instead, she scrolled through the vacation photos again, this time with a new kind of clarity. She saw herself in the reflection of sunglasses, in the shadow holding the camera, in the careful way the towels were folded on the hotel bed. She was everywhere and nowhere. Eleanor spent the day in quiet reflection. She took a long walk through the park, letting the breeze untangle the knot in her chest. She stopped for lunch at a cafe she'd always wanted to try but never had time for. She read a novel in the sun, savoring the rare feeling of being unhurried and unseen. As the hours passed, the ache of exclusion softened into something else: resolve. She realized she'd been so busy making everyone else's memories that she'd forgotten to make her own. She'd been the architect of every family trip, but never the guest of honor in her own life. That evening, Eleanor opened her laptop and checked the travel reservations. Her name was on every booking: flights, hotels, even the snorkeling excursion. She was the linchpin, the one who held the whole trip together. Without her, the plans would unravel. Eleanor woke with a sense of calm she hadn't felt in years. The family group chat was already buzzing, her brother David asking about baggage limits, her mother reminding everyone to bring sunscreen, her sister-in-law posting a selfie from the airport Starbucks. Eleanor sipped her coffee, watching the messages pile up, and felt a strange, quiet satisfaction. She opened her email and double-checked every reservation. The flights, the hotel, the excursions, each one was booked under her name, with her as the primary contact. She'd always handled the details because no one else wanted the responsibility. Now, that invisible labor was about to become very visible. At 9 a.m., her phone rang. It was her mother, voice tight with travel day nerves. "Eleanor, where are you? We're at the airport and they can't find our tickets. Eleanor smiled softly. Oh, I'm at home, Mom. All the bookings are in my name. You'll need me there to check in. A stunned silence. Then, but you're not coming? Eleanor's voice was gentle but firm. I wasn't in any of the photos last year. I wasn't really there, was I? I thought maybe this year I'd take a vacation for myself. She could hear the confusion, the rising panic in the background as her family realized the trip couldn't start without her. Her brother texted, Eleanor, please, we need you. Her sister-in-law called, her tone suddenly sweet. We're so sorry. Can you come? We can't get on the plane. Eleanor took a deep breath. I'll help, but only if I'm truly included. Not just as the planner, but as part of the family. I want to be in the photos. I want to be seen. There was a long pause. Then her mother said, We're sorry, Eleanor. We didn't realize. Please come. We want you with us. Eleanor felt the ache in her chest loosen. Okay, Mom, I'll be there soon. She packed her bag at her own pace, savoring the power of being needed and finally being seen. As she locked her door, she caught her reflection in the hallway mirror. For the first time, she smiled at the woman looking back. Eleanor arrived at the airport with her suitcase rolling quietly behind her, her heart beating with a new, steady confidence. The Kim family was gathered in a nervous cluster near the check-in counter, faces drawn with worry and embarrassment. As soon as they spotted her, relief washed over them like a tide. Her mother rushed forward, arms open. Eleanor, we're so sorry. We didn't mean to leave you out. David, usually the jokester, looked genuinely sheepish. We really messed up, Elle. We need you, not just for the tickets. Even her sister-in-law, who rarely showed vulnerability, squeezed Eleanor's hand. We want you in every photo this time, promise? Eleanor nodded, her voice gentle but clear. I want to be part of the memories, not just the one who makes them happen. She led the way to the counter, presenting her ID and confirming every reservation. The airline staff smiled, recognizing her as the primary traveler. You're the glue, aren't you? The attendant joked. Eleanor smiled back, feeling the truth of it for the first time. As they moved through security and toward their gate, the family's energy shifted. Instead of rushing ahead, they walked together, making sure Eleanor was always in the center. Her mother insisted on a group selfie, Eleanor front and center, her smile genuine and bright. On the plane, David offered her the window seat. You always give it up for everyone else. This time it's yours. Eleanor accepted, gazing out at the clouds, feeling the unfamiliar warmth of being cherished. When they landed in Maui, the family posed for a photo at the arrivals gate. This time, Eleanor was in every shot, her arms around her family, her laughter echoing above the crowd. She felt the difference, not just in the pictures, but in the way her family looked at her. Finally seeing her as more than the planner, more than the background. That evening, as the sun set over the ocean, Eleanor sat with her family at dinner. Her mother raised a glass. To Eleanor, the heart of our family, may we never forget to include you, in every way. Eleanor's eyes shimmered, but her voice was steady, to being seen and to never leaving anyone behind. The table erupted in cheers, and for the first time, Eleanor felt the vacation was truly hers too. The days in Maui unfolded with a new rhythm. Eleanor was no longer the shadow behind the camera or the silent architect of the itinerary. She was in the center of every moment, her laughter caught in the breeze, her smile reflected in every photo, her voice part of every plan. At first, the family overcompensated. Her mother insisted on taking just one more group shot with Eleanor front and center. David made a point of tagging her in every social post, adding captions like, "Couldn't do it without our MVP." Even her sister-in-law, who once seemed to forget Eleanor's presence, now asked her opinion on everything from dinner spots to matching outfits for the luau. Eleanor appreciated the effort, but she also noticed the awkwardness, the way her family tiptoed around her, afraid of slipping back into old habits. She realized that true inclusion wasn't about being the star of every photo, but about being valued for who she was, not just what she did. One afternoon, as the family gathered for a beach picnic, Eleanor quietly slipped away to walk along the shore. She watched the waves roll in, feeling the sand cool beneath her feet. For the first time, she let herself enjoy the vacation, not as the organizer, but as a guest, a sister, a daughter. When she returned, her family was waiting. David handed her a camera. "Your turn to take the group photo, Elle, but only if you set the timer and get in it too." Eleanor laughed, setting the timer and running to join the group. As the shutter clicked, she felt the old ache of invisibility finally fade. She was part of the memory, not just the maker of it. That night, as they looked through the day's photos, her mother squeezed her hand. "I'm sorry we ever made you feel left out, Eleanor. You belong in every picture, every time." Eleanor smiled, her heart full. "Thank you, Mom. I just wanted to be seen." The family nodded, the lesson settling quietly among them. From that moment on, Eleanor knew she would never again be left out of her own story. The final days of the trip brought a gentle, lasting shift. The Kim family's gratitude was no longer performative. It was woven into every gesture, every plan, every shared laugh. Eleanor noticed it in the small things. Her mother saving her a seat at breakfast, David asking her to help choose the day's adventure, her niece reaching for her hand during a sunset walk. On their last evening in Maui, the family gathered for dinner at a seaside restaurant. The table was set for everyone, but this time, Eleanor's place was at the head, her name written in careful script on a folded card. The gesture was simple, but it spoke volumes. After dessert, David stood and raised his glass. "To Eleanor, who taught us that being family means more than just showing up. It means seeing each other, truly. We're sorry for every time we made you feel invisible. We promise, from now on, you're in every plan, every photo, every memory." The family echoed the toast, their voices warm and sincere. Eleanor felt the weight of old hurts lift, replaced by a quiet pride. She realized that justice wasn't about back pay or making anyone feel guilty. It was about being recognized, respected, and loved for who she was. Later, as they walked along the moonlit beach, her mother slipped an arm around her shoulders. "Thank you for giving us another chance, Eleanor. We won't forget again." Eleanor smiled, the ocean breeze cool on her face. "I know, Mom. I won't let myself be forgotten either." That night, as she drifted to sleep, Eleanor felt a peace she hadn't known in years. She had claimed her place, not just in the family album, but in her own heart. Back home, the Kim family's new tradition took root. Eleanor was no longer just the planner or the person behind the camera. She was present, visible, and cherished. When the vacation photos arrived, Eleanor was in every frame, laughing on the beach, arms around her family at dinner, her smile bright and unguarded. She spent an afternoon arranging the prints into a new album, carefully captioning each page. On the cover, she wrote in gold ink, "No one left behind." At the next family gathering, Eleanor placed the album on the coffee table. Her mother flipped through the pages, tears shining in her eyes. "These are the best memories we've ever made," she whispered. David nodded, pulling Eleanor into a hug. "We'll never go back to the old way, Elle. You belong in every story." Eleanor smiled, feeling the truth of it settled deep inside. She had learned to set boundaries, to ask for what she needed, and to trust that her place in the family was hers to claim. The ache of invisibility was gone, replaced by a quiet confidence and a sense of belonging that no one could take away. That evening, as laughter filled the house and the album made its way from hand to hand, Eleanor felt a gentle joy. She was seen, she was loved, and she was finally home in every sense of the word. If this story touched your heart, follow and subscribe to Kindred Echo, where every heartbreak finds its voice and every lesson blooms again.